All right, welcome to another It's Time for a Convo podcast. Finally got the name of my podcast title right. This one is a special one. I'm your host, Jeff Owusu, and tonight, my guests for tonight are two individuals that mean the world to me. If you know me from my childhood, I've spent basically all my summers with them, playing basketball together, traveling to each other's homes for Thanksgiving, and even just throughout the year, spending time with one another. They are very much so a part of my development in my adolescence and into young adulthood, and I'm really grateful that I still get a chance to connect with them even in adulthood. So I got two of my cousins here with me, Isaiah and Nana. What's going on, my guys? How y'all doing?
Man. All right.
It's good to see y'all. I want to highlight a couple of things in our conversation tonight. Definitely want to highlight basketball. I want to definitely highlight changing youth basketball, how you all started that, and where you guys are going to take it in the next few years or so. But I want to start off with some random trivia, and then we'll get into the more serious stuff. So, obviously, I know both of y'all are both basketball heads. Y'all love basketball, probably more so even me, more so than me. Give me your individual top 5 best basketball players all time.
Go first. Of all time. I'm gonna say Shaq. Shaq is one. I'm gonna be biased. Definitely go Kyrie.
Okay.
Let's go Kobe. Small forward.
I think you just said 5. You didn't say position.
He's a position.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be positions.
All
It could
time.
be
All right.
your
That's how I
top
was
5.
thinking. Okay, so let's I'm not even gonna lie. It's people that change the game. So you gotta throw AI in there. I'm definitely throwing Kyrie in there. Steph Curry is definitely in the top 5 of all time. Let's go with I'm still gonna keep Shaq.
Okay.
Because he dominated his position within that year. And then the last one, let's go for some reason Luka keep coming to my head, but nah, we're not even gonna put Luka up there. We're gonna go
Not yet.
We'll go Kobe. Kobe.
All right.
Yeah, Kobe.
That's a good 5. Nana, what's up? How about you?
It's funny because I didn't think our list would be this close, but I'm definitely on T-Mac. T-Mac is number 1. T-Mac is number 1. You ain't tell me the rank, but T-Mac is 1. It don't even matter. Jason McGray. I'm putting Kobe in there. Mike is in there. I'm putting Shaq in my top 5 too.
Yeah.
He's just, he probably stands for the era we grew up in, but yeah, Shaq is dominant force, so he's got to be in there. At 5, the 5th one is tough, right? I want another guard though, maybe Oscar Robinson.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll
You
say
taking
Oscar
it
Robinson.
old school, real old school.
Yeah, Oscar Robinson.
That's a good 5. Do you feel like when you guys are playing ball, you modeled your game after anybody from your specific top 5s or just anyone in general?
I know for me, like growing up, my favorite player at the time in middle school was Kevin Garnett. So KG was, on the T-Wolves. He was my favorite player, but then, my game didn't really resemble, his game, right? I'm much more of a guard. So I used to watch a lot of like Allen Iverson, the wide crossovers, and they changed the rule because he was carrying. So like I was doing a lot of that, just playing. Everybody's playing. He's carrying. So that's kind of who I emulated, growing up.
Okay.
Allen Iverson.
Me growing up, we didn't really have the formal training younger, I guess you could say. So like, it was growing up. I watched who I wanted and just emulated that. So yeah, of course I tried to be T-Mac, but my game didn't resemble that. I loved Shaq. I loved the bigs and all that, like I said, but it wasn't really honestly until I started watching like Magic Johnson.
Yeah.
Bigger guards like that, Magic Johnson, Grant Hill, things like that, where I saw like, okay, I could do some of those things that they do, even though I'm not, I may not be the fastest, I'm not, but I have something that I can add to the game like that. So those are the type of guys that I actually watched and tried to do things like.
For sure. It's crazy too. Like everybody like growing up, we African. Like you got a lot of speed, so like AI definitely for me it was like someone who I wanted to like emulate. He had to handle, and that was pretty much my game. Like growing up, like I didn't really develop shooting until like college, but it was just straight handle and ball work. So, yeah.
That's what's up. Where do y'all see the NBA now? Like, I mean, I know growing up, the NBA I feel like used to be a little bit more tougher. You can do a little bit more things that you can't do now. I feel like it's a little bit watered down this day and age. But where do y'all see the NBA at right now, and where do you see the NBA going? Just in terms of the international stars, obviously our domestic stars as well. The way they're changing the All-Star games, everything like that. Like, where do y'all see the game going?
I'll take this one first. Just to
Yeah,
rebuttal kind of what you said, it in a sense, I hear a lot of us always say it's watered down, but at the same time, right, like you just said, there's so many different avenues now to basketball. Basketball is just all over the place. So in a sense, I guess you can say just because it's being played so much now, it's watered down, but the NBA, the actual NBA, that talent pool is the greatest in the world.
Yeah.
Those are the best basketball players that we've ever seen.
Yeah.
Even now, we make fun of players nowadays for the double step backs, triple step, because we didn't grow up watching that. In our game, it wasn't part of it. But the creativity is something that when we were kids, we would have never dreamed seeing that. We used to watch Hot Sauce and AI and AO and One and see those moves and be like, yeah, those will never be in the NBA, but it's getting kind of, it's going trending that direction to an extent, but it's trending that direction. So it's fun to see.
I mean, to your point, of the game, it being watered down, but it's also developing like each year, right? Like, we're now going into like positionless basketball, right? Something that we're now starting to see, right? Like an example is the Celtics 1 through 5 can switch, right? And now guards are coming in the league 6'4" and better, right? So to your question, where do we see the NBA going on in the future? I think it's if you want to go to the league, gotta be 6'4". I don't think they're gonna take anybody under 6'4", right?
Yeah.
Maybe some 6'3" guys, depending on like being athletic or whatever. But nah, like everybody now is 6'4" and better, 7 foot now. So it's getting tough, but I like it though.
That's what's up. That's what's up. I want to switch gears and talk about CYB, changing youth basketball, which I know is something that you all developed over the years, and it's become, at least in my eyes, I feel like it's a national thing. Y'all may not feel that way, but I do. Talk to me about CYB, how it started, what y'all doing right now, and how you all are taking it to the next level and just developing not even just the male basketball players, but the female basketball players as well. Like, how did it all come about? Give me like the 411 on CYB.
Okay, so first things first, I want to give a big. He's not here, but I want to give a shout out to Stephen Pierre Saint. He's my partner in developing Gen Youth basketball. It started off in 2016. We was working at another organization, called Leap, and we were just like, we can, we serve the underserved community, right? So, and we know the kids. Right? We can, develop our own program, our own nonprofit. We know basketball. Let's start our own thing. And that's how it started. Like, I was working at a Gata Riverside over in Manhattan at 96th Street. And like Steve and I, we would just talk about it. So I'll pull some of my kids that I knew. He got some kids that he knew. And we just put a team together. We looked into some parks. We got the permit. And we just went from there. Got some mocks going on. And it just took off from there. It really started to develop when our jersey designs, right, like went crazy. The city designs was one of the notable jerseys that all the kids love. So that kind of like put us, somewhere like within the tournament, tournaments within New York City. As of right now, like we do the tournaments our 8th year. In the spring, we do our AAU circuit.
Nice.
We try to, go to like PA, Virginia, things of that nature. Right now we're in a redeveloping process where we're just trying to reconstruct everything to fit our lives, because it is time consuming. So,
I guess that's kind of where I come in at. He and Steve, like he said, started CYB, changing basketball. 2016.
2016, yeah.
2016. I remember going out, watching it, and just looking and just being like, it's crazy that people I know created this, right?
Yeah.
And it's like these are tournaments we used to go to when we were kids. We used to go watch tournaments and go. So it's crazy that we're the ones now doing it. So it's like, nah, I gotta find a way to get a part of it. But coaching, I guess you could say, is something that's kind of been new to me. Well, not really, right? Because I kind of my personality, even from when we were younger, right? Like we would go work on moves that we used to do together. Like that's how we learned. That's so in a sense, like we've been coaching, training each other since we was, since kids. So,
Absolutely.
but so just now, trying to pass it forward. That's kind of where I've come with it. Just knowing the perspective, having been a kid before in New York City, just being able to give them anything, any little thing that they can, turn into something more for the love of the game. Yeah, that's.
What's the hardest part about coaching for y'all?
I think is he always is going like it's more so like the development portion of it,
Sure.
right? And I enjoy it. You're gonna laugh, but I enjoy the development portion of it. But for me, it also got to be like a buy-in, right? Like you gotta also want it yourself, right? Where I can push you, right? Growing up, I didn't have that, right? We didn't have that. We just outside just hooping. Actually, shout out to Nate. He used to be outside, pushing us. Put the ball on the floor, do this, do that, these moves, right? We need more of that, right? And that's kind of how CYB was created. Like we just need more of us, African American men going out there and saying, hey, listen, like I think your game could be on this, this avenue. Come work with me. So, but it's that and just the streets right now, right? We're in battle with that. So we have kids who can hoop, but then they want to be outside. So it's been pretty tough. In the last 8 years, some good has come out of it. Obviously, we have some kids who play college basketball on different levels. So it has its rough patches, but it's been going pretty good.
For me, that's the toughest part. It's the keeping the kids in the gym, right? Like we know what it means to be in the gym, right? We didn't take the time, and we wasted our opportunities, and we made what we could of them, but we feel like we could have, done so much more. So it's like we try to pass it forward, like, yo, that little extra 30 minutes, that little extra hour in the gym, it means something. Like it's just, and so that's the toughest part about, I think, coaching, is realizing like they don't know, a lot of times don't know what's best for them,
Right.
and trying to make it clear to them, to their peers, to their parents, that I may have an idea of what may be better for you, or what may be best in certain situations.
You know what's so crazy though? Like, I think us growing up, the sport of basketball was much easier because like if you didn't have a PlayStation, I didn't have a PlayStation, right? Y'all knew that. Like I ain't have no PlayStation. I ain't get a GameCube till like later on. I was outside. I was outside with the rock every day. It's different now, right? Kids, they got the PlayStations. They got the music. It's so many like different things.
They got their phones.
They got their phones, right? Like it's just so many different things that make it tough. We have opportunities for kids to come to the gym, and sometimes they don't want it. Sometimes we'll be in the gym just us, right? So I think that's also the also tough part about it. Like we shouldn't want it more than they do, and just the generation is just different.
Adapting.
Yeah, just adapting.
That's the toughest part. Adapting.
Yeah.
What does the summer tournament look like? I mean, I've been before, so I've experienced it. But from your perspective, if a viewer who may not know what the summer tournament looks like, but might want to attend, or may have a team that wants to participate, what does the summer tournament look like?
I'm taking it first.
Go ahead.
Because you from the inside. I'll take it from
the
my
outside.
first time I ever even seen it.
Yeah.
So the tournament, it looks like a summer New York City basketball tournament. It's blacktop, referees, it's kids, every team different color jersey, every division different designs. It's colorful, it's loud. Jay's on the mic the entire time yelling. Like it's a show. It's an entire show. I think we do a disservice to ourselves, with the tournament, not realizing what we have. But it is honestly, it's right up there with any other New York City tournament. Just right here in our own neck of the woods, here in the Bronx. That's all it is. So it's a show.
And how do teams get involved in the tournament? Like, do they have to reach out in order to bring their teams over for the summer?
Yeah, so you guys can follow the page at Changing Youth Basketball. We normally create a flyer, post it around like April, March, and yeah, guys, teams just DM us. We let them know how much it is to place a team, what division, and then we go from there.
What is some of the feedback that you have gotten from other coaches, other teams that participated, from the community, from your players. What's some of the feedback that y'all have gotten about the tournament and about CYB as a whole?
You know, with everything, there's always going to be like some, positives and negatives.
Sure.
Obviously positive. People love the jerseys. They love the intensity of the game. It's always, the park is always filled, right? I'm on the mic. The matchups sometimes be, crazy. Like people want to see that. So that it's always been good. What's been an issue sometimes, is scheduling. We do have 2 courts that we have to manage. So that's always been difficult. And just trying to make everybody happy. Like we're competing with, a lot of tournaments within the Bronx, let alone New York City. We have normally like last year, 28 teams? The year before that was 32 teams. So, it's hard to manage, but, we get it done within 6 to 8 weeks.
Right. And I mean, at the end of the day, the feedback for the most part is positive for that reason, right? We do bend over backwards in a lot of ways for these other teams and for these other tournaments. So at the end of the day, most teams are happy they chose our tournament. They're happy they participate, and they always want to come back. We have a lot of repeats. A lot of people most of the people who come to the tournament actually, for the most part, have been repeats for these last few years. So it's been pretty great feedback actually.
Talk to me about your merch line. I mean, I see y'all got the merch on. I'm slacking because I still need to get CYB merch for myself.
Yeah.
I'm gonna work on that this summer. But talk to me about the merch, about the designs, how y'all go about it, the whole process.
Well, with this design per se, we collectively, just came out with the design. Shout out to AJ. He's also a member of CYB. We're in the chat. It was 2020, we seen the movement going on, and we just came up with the idea of just placing the fist on a hoodie, right? And changing to basketball within the fist. So it was a good concept. A lot of people liked it. As the 3 of them reflect on it, good quality material as well too. So I've slowed down with the process. Because it is a lot to manage while I was managing the AAU teams and the basketball tournament, but we're getting back to it, hopefully by next month. So
That's what's up.
definitely, copy of jackets. You guys can DM us, sweatsuits, shorts especially. So, yeah.
Do y'all feel like y'all deal with like survivor's guilt, or in the sense that y'all are both from the Bronx? You guys have created this organization, and it's a successful one. You mentioned y'all doing it for your 8th year. Is there a bit of like survivor's guilt that you all experience as you're planning, as you're prepping, for the summer, as y'all coaching, as y'all in the heat of all things? Like any type of survivor's guilt at all, or you kind of feel like, nah, this was kind of destined?
All the time. It shows up, when we go through our planning sessions, right? We plan about, price points. We debate about what we want to provide. Where one person may say, we need to have this for the tournament. Another person may say that's not important. But it's like, no, we want to provide these things just because it's like, now we want the tournament. It's not for us, right? We don't make anything from it, right? So the idea is at this point we just want to provide a safe, top-notch tournament for our neck of the woods, right? So that's really what it all comes down to. So I think survivors, guilt is probably the main reason we as an organization even debate about anything.
Yeah. Nah, that's good. That's good. I'm glad to hear that. Let's switch gears and let's talk about your upbringing. So again, growing up in the Bronx, New York, growing up in an African household, which is a very different lifestyle than most. Talk about that for a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, every African household is different.
But the same.
But the same essentially.
True.
But the same.
But I think that just the concepts of just who you are as a person, whether you're male or female, is always like being just doing the right thing, right? It's always about doing the right thing and just showing others that you could do the right thing, right? So just going to school, taking care of my work, you know, going to school, getting a job, getting a degree, things of that nature. So it was pretty tough. Like I had my moments where I was outside and, you know, mom used to, you know, beat me and stuff like that. I used to get kicked out the house, you know, the whole nine. Some of y'all you don't know that, but yeah. I think out of the both, I had a much tougher upbringing, you know. So yeah, that's just.
That's because you don't listen to the rules.
Yeah, I wasn't listening. I didn't listen to that. Some of the rules,
that's
you know.
all this is about.
The
you know rules are the same, but you don't listen to them.
But you know what's?
I follow mine.
You know what's so crazy though? Like we grew up in the Commons, right? We grew up in Stevenson Commons, and like, you know, most places like, you know, Tracy Towers, who's heavily populated with, you know, the Ghanaian, you know, community. Like other places, like, you know, like it's heavily populated with the Ghanaian community. Like we're surrounded with, you know, so many different people that you're going to do different things, right? And that goes back to when you bring it back to the house, right? Because when you're a kid, naturally that, you know, it happens. So it's just a, you know, adjustment of culture and, you know, what's being done outside. So I was kind of like in the midst of that, like trying to figure it out. So that's just, you know, my story.
I guess same thing, right? But I guess on the flip side of it, now being a parent, and Jeff you probably feel that just as much as I can. When you're a parent now, it's a little bit different. When you see when it's like, okay, I see why. Yeah. Okay, now I know why I don't go outside after the time. It's like, nah, I want the same rules for my child. Yeah. As crazy as it was, all the stuff I went through, at the end of the day, I want the same for my child now. Because I know what those rules, those guidelines, what, you know, that structure, what it builds, what it fosters. Yeah. So, yeah.
It comes with a lot.
It comes with a lot.
Out of all the parks that we used to play at growing up, which one of the parks was your favorite? Whether it be the back, 131, Shore Haven, Rosedale Park. I mean, we like I said, we've traveled basically all throughout the city to play ball, as long as there was a hoop.
My favorite park, like growing up, I'm not gonna lie, there was, it's tough because the back of the Commons, we done had some great battles.
Very legendary games.
Very legendary battles in the back of the Commons, right?
No lights, battles.
Yeah, straight battles. But I think after, you know, they got rid of the back, you know, it was 131. You know, that's where I played my first tournament ever, which was Nike Swoosh. And I got my nickname. For me, it was Izzy 2K during that time. They called me Izzy 2K. And I was just going crazy because I always had the handle. So that always stuck with me.
Yeah.
I was going to say Waterbury. Maybe.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that one.
That's a good one.
That is a good one.
We trekked over there for a little bit and ran that place a couple summers. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's always the one. It's the one.
The one.
The 131 Park is, I could go there right now and it just feel like home getting shots up. It's always like, that's your home park.
Yeah, so, all the full court games.
Yeah.
Yo, wow.
131.
Some good memories in there.
Memories over there.
Really, really good. Zay, I know you went to Rice High School. I feel like you went to Rice at a time where basketball in New York City was on fire.
Yeah.
Talk to the people about your experience, and you played at Rice as well. Yeah. So talk to me about that experience.
We both said our top five and we didn't name Kemba.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Shout out to K Walk, man. Shout out to K Walk, man.
Definitely six.
Where like, you know, it's crazy. So I'm gonna tell you the full story. Went to Holy Cross, 8th grade, played there, and you know, I was filling out you know, the applications to go to high school. And I actually was supposed to go to high school with Nana and Kofi. Shout out to Kofi. Yep. He's not here. Was environmental studies, right?
Yeah.
So you know, I ended up getting the SSP program, and I go to Rice. So I'm telling people on the block, like, yo, I'm going to Rice. They're like, you going where? You know what school that is? And I'm not even gonna lie, I didn't know at the time. I didn't know it was that like big of a basketball school. So I'm like, yeah, they like, you better play there. And I'm like, all right, whatever. And then they said, yo, K won't go there. And that's when I knew, like, nah, this is something big. Like, this is a big school. Yeah, like being in Rice though, it's hoopers everywhere, bro. Queens, like Brooklyn, like they're traveling to come to school in Harlem on 125th, man. And it's, you know, it just, you gotta be a dog. Like, you gotta be a dog literally like middle school going into high school. And, you know, I was still learning the game, but I not learning the game in the sense of like I was developing, but like I was good enough to play, but I needed to learn more of the game, right? Which requires shooting, you know, what happens after you pass this, the first, second defender, like, you know, the next steps. And I didn't really develop that until I started playing at Rice. And then, you know, I went to college, things of that nature. So it was cool. Like, it was a great brotherhood. You know, you see people like you there, you know, who likes the sport. Yeah, it was dope. It was dope.
How do you feel now that Rice? I mean, Rice has been closed down for quite a while now. But how do you feel about that whole situation with Rice closing? And
It's unfortunate, and there's a lot of like Catholic schools that are closing. You know, we do need you know, another school like Rice, right? Because it was it was an African American school, right? You know, like just people of our color, and it was big on brotherhood. Right, like I remember D Nash, right? Rest in peace, D Nash. He used to be like, "What's going? Good morning, brother." Right, and we used to clown him, you know, call everybody brother, but like you felt that, right? Like everybody was brothers. So, it's just super unfortunate that it closed down. I forgot what school was in that building now, but you know, it is what it is.
yeah. And Nana, I know you went to University of Maryland.
Right.
How was their basketball program during the time that you was there?
Ooh, trash, right? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
I think
at the
my
time,
freshman year
they
they
wasn't
were
that good.
okay. I think they had a top something player in the ACC. But that was a big thing. But when I was there, we were going from the transfer from the ACC over to the Big Ten. So that changed a lot. New money coming in. Under Armour had just paid for all of our uniforms and everything for the whole school. We did a bunch of things. So that was what was going on at the time when I was there. The team wasn't that great. I think we may have my 4 years there. I think we beat Duke one time. They stormed the street. It was a big deal. So, but we trashed most of the time I was there. But Maryland good now.
Yeah,
For a fact, we good now. Ranked
looking
18th
real
right
good.
now. So watch out. And the girls, the women's team is real good. So yeah.
That's what's up. Do you guys since I know you are coaches, do y'all model your coaching like philosophy after any legendary coach or any like New York City coach or any coach in general that you kind of pick their brains about or you try to imitate?
I guess just being a New York City kid, like I always I feel like if I'm trying to get in that mode, like I'm in my Patino mode, like that's I'm on my Rick Pitino. That means
That's it.
I'm
Legendary.
grinding into the kids.
Yes.
Yeah, that's one thing I guess I would say. But I mean, never really, I guess, emulate. That's again part of the learning process. I think that's something I would want to do. But nah, I don't myself not too much.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I think
There's coaches I admire.
Yeah.
Definitely. Lots of coaches I admire.
I think just getting into coaching, like when I started, I think I started like right after I graduated, like 2014. I was working at God of Riverside. Shout out to Charles. He was the person that I was behind. So he was the head coach. I was an assistant, and he just taught me a lot. Like just him running the practices, things of that nature. So, you know, a lot of my philosophies, a lot of my concepts are from Charles. Big shout out to him. And I just like the game. I studied, the game. So, yeah.
That's what's up.
I don't really have anybody specifically. Like,
What are y'all plans just in your personal lives? Because I know outside of coaching and outside of basketball, I know you all got a lot going on. I know you got a kid. Isaiah, we still waiting on yours. But how are y'all doing in your personal lives? Just from like a mental, physical, spiritual kind of aspect. And where do y'all see yourselves, personally, next 5-10 years?
I mean, to touch base on the spiritual part, like always, every morning, every night, everywhere I go, I pray, right? That's definitely within the African culture, within the Ghanaian culture, prayer is a big thing. So I just let God lead. I tell him what I'm looking for, what I need, and hopefully, not hopefully, he will support me within my endeavors. Right now, 32, I work in a high school as a phys ed teacher / coach. I've just been grinding. You know how it is in New York City, just trying to get to it and just make ends meet. Other than that, yeah.
Me, Fatherhood. I know you're tired of hearing it, but fatherhood that's me right now. That's all I pretty much try to put my energy towards. But I need to, learn better, to get away from that as well. I mean, nothing wrong with, loving for my daughter, but I do need to, there are other things I do want to focus on. So, when you said 5 to 10 years, definitely makes me think about CYB. As we said, we're taking a little bit of a scale back this summer, but that's also because I want to be a little bit more hands-on, try to learn a little bit more ins and outs about the organization, and then we can from there begin to expand and grow it into what we actually, want it to look like. Because we want it to look like something like this, eventually get to a point where we have a building, we have a school even if possible. That's CYB Elite is where we branched off from after, CYB basketball tournament. We branched into CYB Elite, which is our AAU teams. So, the next step from there would be to continue to grow those teams into something, sky's the limit with that.
Are you all in like the planning stage for the summer tournament right now?
Right now, currently, yes. Currently, yeah, we're in the planning stage.
Gotcha. All right. And how can people reach out to y'all if they want to get involved, if they want to come watch a game, if they want to buy merch? What's some of your, your social media handles, all that good stuff?
They at Changing Youth Basketball. Changing Youth Basketball right on the gram. You can DM me. We respond pretty fast, so yeah.
Email, everything's on there.
Yeah.
So yeah.
The park, actually, the location of the tournament is over at Bronx Park East. Right by the 39 bus stop, right across the street from the Target. No, it's not Target.
No,
Staples. Park.
All right, good. Well, I thank y'all for doing this. Again, this means a lot to me. Just being able to sit in this space with y'all and have this conversation, it means the world. So I thank y'all for taking y'all time to doing this. And I'm gonna get y'all out of here on this one. Out of all the people that we played with, growing up, who was the best person to play ball? And I'm talking everybody that we played with.
We including like the bag 131.
We including everybody. The back 131. What's that? There was one park that we used to go to. It was small, but it was one court. It was near Classens Point, but it wasn't in Classens Point. It was one court.
Hardin Park.
Yeah, Hardin Park is another one.
Hardin Park.
That's another one. In the middle of the forest.
Who we ever played with?
The best person y'all ever played with.
As a kid.
I want to give credit to. I think. I have more than one answer.
You can say me.
So if we're going real young, like, well, not too young, but like younger, I'm going Teddy. Teddy from Holy Cross. Teddy, that was the first
KG.
kid I ever seen that I was like, okay, he's better than me. And I had a big ass, big head when I was young. So
for sure.
I didn't think nobody was better than me. I thought I could do anything anybody else could do. Teddy was the first person I was like, I can't do everything he could do. I know I can't. So honestly, Teddy's one of the ones I was like, okay, he's a little different than me.
Man.
I'm trying to think.
Gross.
For me, who do I want to give credit to? That's
Right.
That's the real.
That's the real
Yeah.
We did our fair share, we did our fair share, so I don't know. We ain't take too many L's. Another one, before, not to cut you off, I'm going to give credit to Matthew. Matthew, we used to hoop at him in the back. Matthew from the
I was thinking about him too.
I was hooping at him from when we was young, and he was always, he was older than us, but he was always good in my eyes.
Yeah. I will give it to Matthew. He did his thing, man. Shout out to him.
Yeah. Do y'all feel like New York City still the best city to kind of produce basketball players, or y'all feel like we kind of lost that?
Go ahead.
Hey, listen, man. I love New York. Born and raised, but just looking at how the development of basketball and the trajectory of where it's going, I don't think New York has the best style, right? You're looking at guys from Florida, down south, like they jumping out the gym, right? Like the air is different out there. New York, we're natural born dribblers, like, right? As we come out the gate, knowing how to dribble, knowing how to be fancy, sauce it up, things of that nature. I'll tell a little story I'll never forget. I went my first year in college during practice, right? I'm over here busting the move. Sham got this, Sham got that. I was gonna try to go crazy. Yo, the coach is like, what are you doing? Like, that's not the style of play. That's not the style of basketball we play. So, you know, I ended up, it was a humble pie moment. I ended up, you know, sitting down for the rest of the practice. You know, it was what it was. But I always tell that story because, you know, the style of New York basketball can be great, right? But there got to be other aspects of it, right? Shooting, you know, more than dribbling.
For me, I rebuttal everything he just said. New York City is the best place for basketball there is, by far. You know, we took a couple of years off, but I mean, from when we grew up, Corey Fisher, K. Walk, Durant Scott, all of them, to Jelly Fam, to now with Ian Jackson and RJ and all. Nah, New York City is the best place for basketball. I know every other place, you know, tries to stake their claim and they try to, you know, talk down on us because the Knicks was, you know, a tough couple years. But New York City is the mecca of basketball for sure. It's not even, I don't think it's close. Sorry. Everywhere else is coming up. They're doing their thing. And that goes back to the watered down statement we said before. Basketball is everywhere now. So the South wants to stake claim. Atlanta tries to stake claim now. Cali's been trying to, you know, take it since the Ball brothers.
Before the Ball brothers.
New York.
New York still in Mecca.
New York is the Mecca.
You know what? I'm a renege and say New York.
We were just looking at the top 10 draft class
and
my college basketball draft yesterday, and it's like 4 or 5 players from New York.
So we still got it.
We still got it.
We still got it. We still got it, y'all.
We still got
it.
Again, fellas, I thank y'all. I really appreciate this. Thank y'all for coming out. Again, my name is Jeff Owusu, and thanks for joining us in this conversation. We'll see you at the next one.